podcast. We got Wes Van Horn here. He's I was thinking about how to describe you, Wes, and I was gonna sit there and be like, upstairs comedy,
overweight.
That wasn't the. Well, you got a new show coming out at Saturn.
Severe sleep apnea. Yeah. No.
Well, you've done so much though. Like there was a period of time I saw that you were going around and like eating barbecue and writing about it for AL.com.
Well, that explains the weight.
Yeah. I was before that one-off gig.
That hell gig.
That one weekend of eating barbecue. I was actually very thin. No, that was something that I knew some of the guys over there, and they approached me to do. You know Matt Mitchell?
Yeah.
From It's a Southern Thing.
Yeah.
So he did these videos called like Bless Your Rank, where he like ranked all these different foods, and it was kind of all Southern Alabama. And I guess they couldn't get him for one, and the guys knew me, knew I was a comic, knew I was in like food industry for a while and loved barbecue and shit like that. So they approached me to do like the barbecue episode, and then from that they asked me to like we film these pieces where we went up to like North Alabama for like this is Alabama, and just like tried like 12 places in a day, and they were like, you just have to take like a bite and you can even spit it out, and I ended up eating like 14 fucking full sandwiches that day. They were like, you don't have to finish, and I was like, nah, kind of do.
No, we're here.
Look the other way. But yeah, so that was like that. It wasn't really anything. It was like kind of just a one-off fun weekend gig, but they turned it into more content, I think, than it.
Well, I watched a couple of them, and I was like, that's so good.
It was fun. I got paid a little to eat barbecue on camera, so
that's right up anybody's alley.
I'll say it was the most fun I ever had. Please invite me to do it again.
Is that your best comedy gig?
Yeah, that was the best gig I've ever had, for sure.
When I was telling Reed I was going to read this, I looked up. Because you were in Colorado for a while. I know you said you were born here and lived here for a while.
Yeah. Well, I was in Kansas City.
Kansas City, that's what it was.
And my wife's from Denver.
And then you were talking about her meeting Sam Talent. That's why I got that in mind.
But I started comedy here like right out of college. Like the fucking week I moved back here from Tuscaloosa, I like saw the open mic thing, and I'd been thinking about it, and I just went to the Barking Kudu, which was
Sidebar,
where you had a show. And started there, and then like met a girl who was moving to Kansas City, and we like started kind of being serious pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then I had a really good buddy who did comedy, who was actually the original Three Brain. I don't know if you've ever heard his name, but he was the original like masturbating bear on Conan.
Oh yeah! Wow.
And
wait, is this the guy you just went to Kansas City and did the shows with?
No.
Okay.
That's another guy. So I met Three Brain, or Brendan. He would come down here. He had like friends here. So I met him at like the Barking Kudu doing open mics, and people were like, you got to meet him. He's crazy. And he was like, he is. But we like hit it off. And so he moved to Kansas City to do like advertising writing. And so he was there. This girl was moving there that, I saw a future with, and I just wanted to get into like a bigger comedy scene. And I saw they had 2 comedy clubs. So I was like, let's go.
Twice as big.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went up there for like 4 years or something like that, and like tried to break into the clubs and stuff like that.
What got you from Kansas City to LA?
So I was just wanted to move out there, and so I was like, I want to go do comedy there. So me and the girl split. Got fired from the advertising job my friend got me at the place he was working, and had drunk my way around Kansas City enough to where I needed a new spot. So I was like, felt good. I was like opening for people at the club, and just felt good, and was like, I'm ready to go out to LA. So I just moved out there, and I had 2 buddies living out there, Rivers, Langley, and Joe, who and so I was like, oh, this is great. So
and y'all started Yellowhammered.
Some friends, yeah.
So that's what I wanted to mention. You've got a new show, or you got a show at Saturn that's Yellowhammered that you're doing December 22nd?
Yeah, the 22nd. So that's this old show that me and those 2 guys started in LA in our carport / It's the worst part of LA. It's like off of it's like near MacArthur Park. Anybody who knows where that area is, it's just like it's where like Anthony Kiedis would go score fucking heroin, like under the bridge. It's like written about the bridge that was near our place.
Sick.
And
that's pretty cool.
And it's just not.
You're like, no, it's not.
It's not a good area. Anyway, we didn't know what we were doing. Me and Joe had just I lived with him for a month at this like place he had a sublease, and then we looked for a place together, and we just had to like find the quickest place that was like also cheap enough for us to live. So we moved into this like triplex home that they'd converted into like 3 different apartments, and it was like gated in this very sketchy area, but it was like cool. And we didn't really have any other neighbors like in the 3 rooms. We were like the first to move in, and then we had this big fenced in like carport. And so we were like, this is kind of cool. We could start a show. So we started this like Alabama themed show where we made like free Southern food for everybody, and then just invited comics who we knew. And Rivers had been out there running a show at West Side Comedy Theater. So he had like more contacts.
Yeah.
I knew a few people. And so we just like started running this show, and it was like, it got cool. And like everybody fucking, comedians are poor, and we had free food. So it was like, so we were like, the thing to do on a Saturday night for a little while. And we had great lineups, but, so we did that. And then like these neighbors moved in who was like this full Guatemalan family, like maybe 18 of them in a couple bedrooms. And they were just like filthy. This is nothing against Guatemala. I don't know anything about other Guatemalans, but the one family I know. But they were like, we found 2 dead dogs.
Someone had to say it.
There were dead dogs. We found 2 dead dogs just on the property at random points in time. They had another pit bull that they kept like chained in the back where we were already doing the show. They brought a live peacock back there to live with the pit bull. They had a jaguar that was obviously stolen because it like never moved from the spot, and that it just became
a car or the animal.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
You were talking about peacock. I was like, holy crap!
The car, and it was like
those things got to run like so many miles a day.
It was in decent condition when it parked back there, and then it never moved, and then over time the peacock just made it its toilet and home. So like we would keep doing the show. Joe would drug the dog so it wouldn't bark the whole time like with melatonin. Rivers would pay the local ice cream guy who would go around. He's definitely a drug dealer, but he would go around with his ice cream thing on, and it would so Rivers would pay him to turn it off for an hour so we could actually do the show. There were still 14 helicopters flying above us every show, but it was a scene. And then there's a peacock on top of a jaguar just shitting all over like a nice fancy like luxury vehicle. So it was like, it became like
the most Alabama LA show.
And it was like, Dave Ross, I don't know if you know Dave Ross, very funny comic, and but he like put it great. We have a video from his set, and he was just like, I love this show because they took the place where most comics are scared to go in the country, Alabama, and they brought it to the place most people are scared to go in Los Angeles. And it's chaos. And I was like, like we had like Lori Kilmartin on, and we had to like walk her to her car, like Eliza Schlesinger, we had to like walk them to their vehicles, like it was very, but it was fun, and it was like I wouldn't trade it. It was definitely an experience. So long story short, we're bringing every Christmas we would try it, like when we were all home for the holidays, we would put one on here. Like we did it a couple years at Work Play, in the theater at Work Play. We did it at Bottle Tree the first year before when Bottle Tree was still around.
R.I.P.
And we had like Roy Wood, Whit Thomas when he was in town, David Perdue out of Atlanta, anybody who was kind of around.
We've had some stellar.
And then so like we did it a few years, and then obviously like the last couple years we hadn't done it, so it was like, let's bring it back this year. And so I hit up Saturn, who was interested and available.
Catherine Blanford.
Catherine Blanford, Yadoye Travis, and Shawnick, and then maybe a special guest or two. That may be around. So it's going to be a blast. And then my buddy Nick Bahakis, who is a restaurateur, like Hero Donuts, Tasty Town, Little Donkey, Rodney Scott.
I was about to say Rodney Scott. That was when we were there last night.
So he, he does the
us.
food when we're in Birmingham. Like he does and he came out to LA and did the food one time, which was very fun. But so he's gonna like use his powers to create them. So the food's gonna be better than just us cooking packaged biscuits and gravy in the back of a 1-bedroom apartment in MacArthur Park. But yeah, so it's like, and we like tried to do it on the cheap side, so you get like dinner and a show.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be so much fun.
So this, I know you talk a lot about wanting Milo to be a British kid.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I feel like you're gonna have some questions that are gonna come up.
This is great.
This is a book on how to speak British or how to be a Brit.
This is great. Yeah, this is awesome. My wife does a very good, like, actually, like, we got to wrap this up because I got to watch the finale of the Great British Bake Off tonight with my wife. So whenever, we can't go too late.
Okay.
Just on the topic. But yeah, like, I do. Yeah, I have a bit where where we're raising my son gay and British just because we want him to be hilarious and fun to be around. But yeah, I don't know. I think my wife really got me into it, and like she'll just around the house just break into a British accent and like just do stuff in a British accent for like a long time. And then she started doing like Australian, which is really hard because I can like play with the Brit stuff, but it's like the no. It's like the Australian shit is hard.
No,
that's like a little window into our life. It's just me,
just
walking
y'all
around
walking around doing voices,
and just two kids like shitting themselves and screaming and running around unparented while two adults just fucking tap dance around.
How are you trying to raise them gay? You said that.
Well, that's just that's more of a mindset. No, I don't know. That's, we just wanted a gay son. I think my wife, once again, this is kind of her doing. She's like,
those are popular.
She's
man.
like, yeah. I was like, just give him time, there's just a nice, sensitive young boy is what we want. Not we don't, trying to take the toxic masculinity out of him, I guess is.
Well, I just loved your bit about too. Like we had our second child. We were in the hospital. Doing everything. The baby came out. I love that.
Yeah, she was born. That's true. She was born on Election Day in 2020, and we were like in the hospital. So like had no idea like what was going on. Like she was having the baby while the like results were coming in and all that. So we didn't like. It was wild, and it was like COVID, like peak COVID.
I bet that was scary too.
It was crazy, and it was all like it was weird because you had to be masked, you had to be separate. They were like trying to not come in a bunch, but it was great. The baby, she came out healthy, wearing a mask, doing everything she was supposed to do.
Keeping her distance.
Yeah, shitty babies down the hall, just like immediately disputing the results of the election, which was fucked up. Just chanting "Twomp one," I rocked my little libtard to sleep. But and then my son is. Part of the gay British thing too was to get him to not like he's in Alabama and he comes from big jeans. I'm not just talking about the cock in my pants. No, he comes from big, so we didn't want him to like get wrapped up in like fucking Alabama like we didn't want him to play football and just immediately get CTE at age 12.
Now he's going to be bullied for having a British accent.
Well, these people need some culture down here. We're feeding him whatever, bangers and mash for every meal. He's just eating baked beans for breakfast every morning. It's a terrible life for him, but we're reaping the benefits, and that's as parents kind of what you got to do.
Something you can serve tea for him. Next gift.
Oh my God, it's like Christmas. What is this?
I think you'll like it. I saw you posted on Twitter a few movies. And this is a movie that was big for me and Nick when we were growing up.
Oh, my God. I love it. Secret of the Ooze, baby.
Yeah, it's the Teenage Mutant
TGI,
Ninja
man.
Turtle,
I know, man.
Canister.
How? That is hilarious. This was a big movie for me, as it was, I guess, for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, I had this shit on VHS. I probably watched it once a week till like recently. Like probably when I got married is when I had to like stop watching it a lot.
Good
Like
for you.
this is hilarious.
I used to jump in the air and time my jump with like when they would all jump and freeze.
Oh yeah.
I was.
I think
Yeah.
I
thought
can we do that now?
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll end the pod that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
that's actually great. I got to get home to watch the Bake Off. So let's do a
You'll be
quick
limping
reenactment.
home.
A quick reenactment.
Start
of
stretching
that.
now.
No, that's all. That's so funny. I don't like. That's really great. I don't know where you get something like that.
Have you seen the third one?
Oh yeah.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
They get like progressively a little worse. I don't know. The second one was
100%.
so good. I mean, you lose me a little with Vanilla Ice rapping at the end.
You lose me.
Yeah.
That's why I keep coming back.
It keeps you.
I mean, that's the good stuff. Go
When the
Ninja.
movie just turns into a
Ninja.
music video.
Ninja.
Exactly.
Rap.
For some reason. And the pizza just always looks so fucking
The pizza
good.
looks incredible.
Oh yeah, the beginning New York pizza scene.
Yeah,
that is
that's the
prime
thing.
time.
That's the thing. And then the guy who plays the scientist, he just passed away.
Oh, no
didn't
way.
he? I saw it like this year, like because I saw it and everybody was naming all these roles, and I was like, no, he's the fucking.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
who
like,
that guy is.
who knows him from whatever the fuck you're talking about? He's the scientist in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Secret of the Ooze,
Yeah.
if I can be so bold.
Deleted.
Yeah,
Deleted.
exactly.
Deleted.
No, that's very funny. I will drink coffee out of that every morning. That's fantastic. I didn't know I was getting gifts. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I could have brought you guys like a Vanilla Ice onesie or a.
Maybe next
Oh, we're
time.
not done.
Oh my god.
We could bring you back for a Secret of the Ooze pod.
Yeah, Secret of the Ooze pod would be
yeah,
fun.
I mean we can do it. Let's do it.
So this is more wanting Milo to also be rad gift.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Are you kidding? I'm using this. I work from home, but I still bring my lunch and then just take it downstairs to the basement.
Milo's like, Dad, can I borrow your lunchbox? You're
Oh my
like, no,
God.
dude.
This is a Grateful Dead lunchbox.
Mm.
I mean, this is amazing.
Now you're a big Grateful Dead
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so I look for John Prine too stuff. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
you're a big John Prine
Absolutely,
guy as
dude.
well, and
Yeah.
music's just a big like thing
Yeah,
for
You're
you.
big.
Huge. I'm big. I'm
You're
big.
big, dog.
Everywhere, dude. I'm big in the music scene. Big in the ooze scene. I be oozing. That's what they say about you. You haven't seen my merch, but my new merch is I be oozing. Is what it says. And
It's a good tag.
yeah.
I just thought of your joke. You did it during COVID, and I haven't ever got to talk to you about it. The man great. Why man great grilling gotta be great?
Oh, that's a good yeah.
Oh,
Why man great grilling gotta be great? I don't know. I don't think it's a joke. I think it was more of a tweet
Yeah, it
that I
was
may
just
have
a
said out
tweet.
loud.
Yeah, the number of times that
because
shit
I didn't
gets
because I
stuck in
didn't
my
write
head.
an actual fucking bit. So I just read tweets. That's pretty much my whole career. Yeah, that's a good one. That was
Well,
good.
I-
That's good. I'm glad you're
It's stuck
bringing
in my
that up.
head all the
It
time.
reminds me I need to start
doing the
cataloging my tweets before the whole fucking thing shuts down, which
Yeah.
apparently it's about to do.
Yeah,
I don't know
true.
when
Oh,
this will
yeah.
come out.
Unless you pay $8 a month.
2025.
Yeah.
When's this coming out?
We'll see. Maybe a few days.
Yeah, maybe not at all.
So Grateful Dead. What's
Yeah, dude.
What's your favorite songs, and who's your favorite Ninja Turtle to bring it
Oh
back?
my
to
god.
that, too?
Yeah, let's get back to the shit that matters. My favorite Ninja Turtle is Vanilla Ice. And my favorite Grateful Dead member is also Vanilla Ice.
Oh, Casey Jones kind of works on both.
It does. There you go.
Oh wow!
There it
Boom.
is. Casey Jones. That's
Is that a Grateful Dead connection?
it's a song, yeah.
No, I know it's
yeah,
a song,
yeah.
but like I wonder if that was made and they're like, we got to put in
I mean,
this.
you never know. We're
cocaine
everywhere. As the Grateful
engineer.
Dead fans say, we are everywhere. It could have been whoever came up with TMNT. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make some phone calls. I gotta get to the bottom. No, so yeah, Terrapin Station is a great one. So I went and saw their their final hurrah in 2015.
Oh yeah, Fare Thee Well.
Fare Thee Well tour. I went to the first ones out in San Francisco.
Mm.
Then they did the final ones in Chicago. But they did like a trial run in San Francisco.
But now they've been Dead and Co for the last like 7
Yeah,
years.
and apparently that's ending this year. But
I've seen them a lot as Dead and Co.
Yeah.
I love them.
oh, they're the best. Just every song is so good. And yeah, they mean a lot to me. I've been a fan for a very long time. I don't know.
We feel the same about the turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I saw the Turtles live.
yeah,
before,
interchangeable.
actually. Six Flags Over Georgia, dude. They did a live rock show.
Changed my life.
Man.
Every song, man.
Yeah, dude.
Every
They
song.
jammed, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It was just Vanilla Ice
They
on
did a-
repeat,
oh,
man.
God,
A
dude.
full
They
hour
did
and a
a
half.
40. Yeah, they did a 45-minute Go Ninja Go that fucking tore the roof down. Dude.
Changed my life.
When they encored with Ninja Rap, dude.
After having played
I had
it.
eaten a 10 strip of LSD, and I wasn't ready to go on the trip they took me on. But god damn it, I'm glad they were in the driver's seat because I've never in my life. I talk about the ooze. Talk about seeing the ooze.
Yeah.
The walls were oozing. That was one of the best concerts of my life.
I'm thinking like the video game was Turtles in Time. Now I'm just thinking Turtles on acid.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the whole kind of thing. Yeah, you got to be on a little bit of drugs to fucking just throw in a Vanilla Ice concert in the middle of a film, middle of a child's film. I wonder, but like, I want to know where those, because those had to be like costumes or like animatronic, like the actual turtles. Like, where are those?
Oh,
at?
no.
It's actual costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
horrible.
But I
Like,
want
people are
one of those,
passing
like,
out.
Those, like, yeah, rubber.
So when I was working at Rock the South, and a guy reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm Michelangelo," or like, "I have the
What?
Michelangelo
I'm
costume."
Michelangelo.
Yeah, he was like,
You
"I."
were Michelangelo?
He was like, "I have the Michelangelo."
Really, you sound
original
nothing
costume."
like him.
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, no way, dude."
Yeah.
He didn't say cowabunga
Yeah.
one time
Eat
in the
this-
email.
Eat this pizza and jump on
Yeah.
the skateboard.
Nothing.
Prove
Like,
yourself.
but he was like, "If you'll pay me $6,000, I'll come to your event and walk around as Michelangelo."
Oh hell yeah, dude.
And it was like,
Right.
"Am I gonna do
The real
this?"
Michelangelo would
Yeah.
do that for free.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
Yeah, dude.
offer services like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Michelangelo to sell out of all the turtles, it should have been Raphael.
Yeah,
you
why
know?
not just knock your ass out with a pair of nunchucks? We'll call it even.
That would be hilarious if the turtles split and like they just had to like make it. Like,
Freelance.
Raphael would probably be a bouncer somewhere
That's true.
for just like some tough club.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're old now. They're no longer teenagers.
That's
Good
a good.
point.
That'd be a good series
Yeah.
too.
Didn't they do middle-aged
Mid-
turtles on SNL?
Oh, they probably did.
Probably.
I think they
probably.
did.
I mean, that's
It
it's
was
a
like
pretty
a
easy list.
cartoon.
Probably.
I, feel
I
like.
bet
A pretty-
Simpsons have done it too.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Yeah, South Park.
All the best. Us.
Yeah.
You know, all the funniest.
It's finally made its way down.
Yeah.
Now,
all the great,
now,
all the greats get there.
now it's
eventually.
hack.
Yeah, exactly. Now it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, right now. That's great. I mean, this
Well,
is.
speaking
ridiculous.
of SNL, last thing
Oh my God. Oh man.
for you,
That's hilarious.
Turd Ferguson hat.
Yeah, dog. That's hilarious.
I bought it a long time ago. I actually used it for Halloween this year.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's funny. You win as Turd Ferguson?
I did. Well, I bought the hat, and we just hadn't interviewed you for a while, and then it was just like I was thinking for Halloween, what should I be? And I was like, well, that hat's right
You
there.
already got the costume.
Yeah, I was already halfway there. So,
Yeah.
But-
That's hilarious.
but yeah, you're a big Norm fan,
Yeah,
right?
it's funny. I was putting my shirt on, and I like have a Norm Macdonald shirt, and I was about to put it on, and then I didn't. But now I could have actually proven that. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know where that was going.
Yeah, that's not
I have
funny,
a-
and I
have a-
don't believe you.
I have a Norm Macdonald shirt. That was the point of that story. Anyway, I gotta get home. This was a lot of fun. This is a fucking barrel of laughs. No, yeah, I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan.
Prove it, dude.
Yeah, prove it, dude.
Yeah, you better take a picture of his shirt later and send
Wear,
it to
yeah,
us.
wear a shirt or something. Buy a shirt or something from fucking Etsy for like $12. Just the worst shirt. It's just like paper thin. Just my nipples bleed after I take it off every time. Yeah, he's the best.
Did you
Very funny.
watch his last stand up?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was sad, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean it was great. I'm glad he got that shit out into the world before.
well, it
yeah.
really made me feel like I don't know, just to be brave and like because he's just facing death and he's still just making jokes.
Oh, he's and like never one to like tell people that or like nobody knew.
Yeah,
He just and all he wanted to do was be like, no, I have these jokes that I was preparing for a special, and I'm not just gonna like
Mhm.
die with these fucking things. Like I'm gonna tell them, even if I have to record it by myself in the closet. It was always about the joke. That's what was the best part about it.
Absolutely.
Always just about, in service of the joke or the bit.
Well, he's definitely a comedian that never like sold out.
Right, right. Yeah, for sure. And always like never pander or like be hacky or like always whatever the funniest thing to say was. He didn't give a shit about whatever the fucking consequences might be or whatever. Yeah.
Of Norm.
Right.
Like when I think of like truly like people talk about like, oh, they're sticking to the bit. No,
Right.
they're, and it's like to Norm was so there's no sticking to the bit because he is the bit.
Right.
Like it's just I don't know. It's the confidence is
well,
the
and it's also,
greatest
and it's
thing.
also just knowing what's funny and knowing what the funniest thing is and being like, no, I'm gonna do the funniest thing and say like this is funny and like and being able to lead someone into a situation and they don't know where they're going, but you have it, you like. You're, you know, it was like making himself laugh.
He loved making people uncomfortable.
Yeah, or just and making himself laugh or doing whatever he thought was funny. And if you thought it was funny, you were very lucky, which I was. I think everything, you know, most of the stuff he did was very funny, but it was always just in service of whatever he thought was funny or whatever the bit was.
Last gift.
Oh my fucking god!
Last one.
I have this.
Oh, okay. Well, I can return it.
But
we could keep it for future guests.
Yeah,
Paul Thomas Anderson. A lot of people like him.
No, yeah. Love
Would you
this.
recommend it though? Good.
The book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So this guy, the author, so he has a few other. He's got a Coen Brothers.
I almost got the Coen Brothers. Do you have that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
good.
all
I
of
would have
his.
just.
And
I would have
and then there's new one
swung
is
and
the
missed.
David Fincher one, which I haven't delved into. It's his new one that came out maybe probably right before Christmas last year. That's one of those books I got and haven't read yet. But yeah, he's very in depth. Like it's like
Intimidating.
yeah, it's like I mean, and there's just shit in there where you're just like, whoa, like he goes very like in depth and very I don't know. It's like
I picture that being like your review on the cover, being like, "There's shit in there,"
Yeah,
where you're just
yeah.
like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't fucking know. Obviously, he's writing books and I'm not. But it's like I follow him on Twitter too, and he's funny. He's funny as a reviewer because he just doesn't like any movie. Like I feel like he's got like a specific taste, and he likes a lot of old stuff, and he likes a lot of but like there'll be like any new movie that I think since I've followed him in the last like 3 years, it's like 1-star reviews. He just hates even like ones that I really like. He's just like, nah, he finds a flaw in it. And even in these, like he doesn't really like suck PTA or Coen Brothers dicks like at all. He's like, well, if he doesn't like something, he's straight up like, you know,
Yeah.
He'll
That's
shit on it a little
refreshing
bit.
to
So,
hear though.
yeah, it's like it's honest, but it can be a little.
I feel like both those people get like I love them.
Yeah.
I like the Coen Brothers more, but PTA I feel like there's not much criticism for them.
Yeah.
Except my parents will watch one of his movies and be like, they watch The Master and they're like, we watched the weirdest
Yeah,
movie.
of course. Oh,
like, what the hell was going on
that's so
there?
funny. So like I have, it's like growing up, I'm sure you guys too, but like just like amassed a VHS and DVD collection that you know my parents never saw. Like they saw them. They were on by, but they never watched them. They didn't know what I was doing. But then like so when like I moved to Kansas City or moved to like after college or. I just, that whole collection just sat in my parents' house. And so now it's like still in my parents' house, and they'll like go in there and pick out movies to watch.
Head of
So
state.
now like when I go over there, they're like, your movie collection is awful. Like, my dad is like, it is terrible. I'm like, what'd you watch? And there'll be like a stack of like 4 DVDs, and I'm like, oh yeah, you wouldn't like any of those. Like, those are good movies. But yeah, the same. Yeah, I'm the. Me and my parents do not have the same taste, and they don't care about movies at all. Really.
And you're a huge movie guy. So where you picked when I asked you, I knew.
I mean, I went
like,
to Alabama. I was like in the film telecommunication and film school.
Oh, cool.
So I know this was like an impossible question.
Yes.
Asking you to pick.
Yeah.
Like what movie?
Yeah, I don't. It was. Yeah, I couldn't answer it. I mean, I was texting you like, I don't know. You got me fucked up.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Speaking of my dad, I told him about this movie. He's pretty blunt when he just went. He was like, "Wow, like, who would pick that movie?"
Oh yeah. Well,
he's like, why is that?
That's why I picked this one too, because it was like, I could pick whatever. Yeah, I could pick like fucking Miller's Crossing or The Master or There Will Be Blood or something. Like I could pick The Big Lebowski. I think we talked about maybe, and I was like, these are all movies that have like been discussed and like, I have no new like takes on them. Like they're great for a reason and everyone knows the reason. And it's like this one actually like I want to stand up for it because I think the zeitgeist about it is like wrong. The one that we're going to talk about, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that, and it holds like a special place in my heart and for different reasons. But
so why Sin of the Woman? Why does it hold a special place in your heart?
Me and my brother just like loved it, and he passed, and we would just like quote it all the time, and we think it's like hilarious, like one of the funniest movies, and not laughing at it, like laughing with it where you're supposed to laugh, but like Pacino is arguably very funny in it, and it gets boiled down to like hoo-ha, which is bullshit because he's got some fucking hysterical ass shit that he talks about. Like the Thanksgiving dinner scene alone is so fucking funny.
No, he does. Just when I was watching, I was like, I could see why on that scene particularly, I was like, I could see why a comic would like this.
Yeah,
and he's just roasting the family.
It's very funny, but we got into this thing a couple years before my brother passed. We just got into this thing where we would like quote it all the time, and so like I even came home from LA, and we did Tolly Jones open mic at the Rare Martini.
Oh wow.
And my brother came along, and that could have been in Kansas City at the time, but I think I was already in LA. But we had watched, like, we had just been quoting it all day, and he's like, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this mic, like, let's go. So we went early, we sat at the bar, and we just did Jaeger shots, a bunch of them. And then I got on stage to the delight of me and my brother, and I literally quoted Sin of a Woman for 40 minutes. And Tolly refused to, like, he was like lighting me, but he like wouldn't stop me, and I was just hammered, and I was having the best time of my absolute life, and I literally just quoting Sin of a Woman quotes, and this was when his mic was like, it was like right after or right before like an improv mic too that was there.
Oh Lord!
So it was like a bunch of improv people were like the only audience, and like that even made me happier that I was just ruining their night as well. But I mean, it was the funny, and so I don't know. Me and my brother just like quoted it all the time, and then our other friend Tina like loves it, and so we just like
throw me some of like at an instant like this would happen, so we would use this quote.
I mean, it was basically just talking. Oh man, there's so that whole dinner scene I think is incredible, but it's like, when he's so this is ridiculous, and it's Thanksgiving, and it's so anytime we'd like walk into someone's house, this is such a stupid line in the movie. It's literally a nothing line, but he walks into that house for Thanksgiving, and he just goes, "Gretchen, I smell those prunes." Are we talking turkey, ma bear? And so we would just do that anytime we'd walk into a room where the other one was. I smell those prunes. Are we talking turkey marbella? And then he goes, we're talking turkey marbella next year. It's like, it's just so funny. And then like at the beginning, his like little niece comes up and is like banging on the window, and he literally goes,
just throws it.
He goes, "Oh, is that a little piece of tail?" He calls it a little piece of tail. That shit's so fucking funny. I don't know. There's just so many great moments, and just like stupid throwaway lines, but it was like that. The whole last speech, I like would quote top to bottom. I mean, I did it at the Rare Martini, but I don't know. It bothers me when that movie gets boiled down to just him going hoo-ha and like being that. That's definitely where late Pacino started, and he kind of like never got out of that kind of like screamy, weird, intense phase.
Mm-hmm.
But that like role and that, I don't know. I think it's like very funny and incredible, and just it's. I think it's better than people remember, or they've never actually watched it.
All right. So I'd never seen it.
Yeah,
I'd never seen it.
You know why? Because it was called Sin of a Woman.
Right.
If it was Sin of a Man, he'd been all over.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. You and my son.
Cinema Man.
Yeah.
No, but I just think I really do think it just has a bad name. Like, I don't know. There's nothing in it that I'm like, if it would have been like Blind Pacino or something, I've been like, oh yeah, dude, I'm in.
Right.
Like A Weekend with a Soldier. I don't know.
Right.
But like, Sin of a Woman.
How's
I
your
don't
skin,
know.
son?
Yeah. I didn't know he was blind at first either.
Yeah.
There was definitely a portion where I was like, why is he just? What is going on?
And he's talking about shit's great when Bradley Whitford's finally like had enough at the dinner table and he starts telling the story about how he got blind.
Yeah.
And how he got hammered.
Yeah.
And was pulling the pins out of the grenade. But he goes, it was a screwdriver for Frank and a Bloody Mary for his friend. And he goes, no, Vincent drank sea breezes.
Yeah.
I was like, that shit makes me laugh so hard. Just correcting him, not like making him stop.
Yeah.
He's like, he wants to hear the story,
Yeah.
but he
Tell,
goes,
tell it how it
"Yeah,
is.
tell it how it is." Vinny
You
drank
don't
sea
have to
breezes.
exaggerate.
And just those little interjections are they're very funny to me. The writing's very well done.
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
And you got young Philip Seymour Hoffman in there.
Yeah, I love
Young
Philip.
Hoffman, already showing his chops.
Yeah, he's great in everything.
That's just a bonus, that I like discovered later, where I was like, oh shit, it's fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Did you know he was working in a deli and had to audition for this movie like 5 different times because of his work schedule?
Yeah.
And this is like the movie that like changed his career.
Yeah,
he
for
said.
sure. Yeah, I think that's where PTA first saw him too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson said he saw him in Sin of a Woman and was like, oh, this kid's great.
Hooah!
And then put him in Hard Eight.
Damn. Oh yeah, Hard Eight. I thought we were doing Inherent Vice. Like,
that's a great one
yeah,
too.
like 2 days ago. Like I
Yeah.
rented Inherent Vice. And
Well,
watched
that's great too. Then
an hour of
I
it.
fooled you into watching two of my favorite movies.
I didn't make
Yeah.
it through. I
Oh.
fell asleep. But then I told Nick, I was like, "Have you watched it yet?" And he's like, "We're not doing that one."
Oh, that's good. That's also that one's amazing as well.
But I did like the movie. Did you like the movie?
I do. I like it a lot. I think there's a ton of really good takeaways in it. All right. So I will say, is Al Pacino overrated?
No, but here's what I'll say. No, because I did this recently.
He gets lazy though.
His later years, he can go either way.
He's totally front loaded.
He can go, but he's not overrated. Because you can't fucking count out. Like, I think he's a better actor than De Niro in my estimation. And that's, if you go fucking back, and I did this over the pandemic, where I took a week. I watched like Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, The Godfather, the first two Godfathers.
Yeah, that 70s
and that run
is
is
incredible.
fucking stupid.
That's one of the best runs ever.
And he's doing something different. You know what's great? And they just put it on HBO Max. Scarecrow. Have you seen this? I just watched it over the pandemic. It's him and Gene Hackman, just like a buddy, kind of road buddy movie with him and Gene Hackman.
How old?
It's from the 70s.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it rules. And it's like, it rules really hard. And it like never gets talked about, never gets brought up. And I watched it and I was like, this movie fucking is incredible.
Gene Hackman's one of the best actors
and
too.
they're great together. And it's like, it's funny. It's like super 70s. They're both kind of like lone, like drifter types. And like, Hackman's like a fucking 6'8", whatever, stomp your ass in the mud, and like,
yeah, dude.
and then you got like little rat Pacino, and they just like make a great combo. It's fucking great, and it never gets talked about. I first saw it mentioned in that Easy Rider's Raging Bull. Have you ever read that book?
Mm-mm.
It's the best book. It's all about late 60s, 70s cinema and like New Hollywood, basically. And it fucking reads like a novel. It's like, I couldn't put it down. I read it in like a day, and I don't read like that.
Yeah.
But it was mentioned as like, there's like the top tier that's like your Godfathers, like all the shit from the 70s that we all know and love. And then it's like, and then he like started listing these other movies, and I was like, what's Scarecrow? And I fucking looked it up, and I was like, I'm watching this shit, and it is amazing and underrated. So that's
Okay.
that's your takeaway from today.
That's our homework.
That's Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about before I got
Just
got-
Pacino
Well, I
being
just
great.
said, is
I think
Pacino
so.
overrated?
So I think, and then
But no, I think after that run, I think just like music, if you put out some great albums, you can just phone it in and put out kind of crappy stuff.
I don't know if it's phoning it in.
But he has great. He's great in Glengarry Ross.
Yeah,
he's great. I mean, in the '90s, he has some movies
for sure. Fucking Heat. I think
He's
he's great.
yeah.
He's turned up in like a weird.
I love
crazy
him.
way,
Once
but
Upon a Time in
works.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
recently.
Great in that. And I think he was great in those HBO movies, like as the Jack Kevorkian he played, and then he played Paterno.
I didn't see Paterno, but I heard.
He's good in that. Like he's not playing, and he's great in The Irishman. I thought he was fucking great in The Irishman.
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa.
And so like he has it. He still has it. It's just when he wants to use it right, because it was like there's like Simone.
I want to get Reed to do Two for the Money. There's several like where it's just like so over. I like.
Yeah. Oh no.
I think Robert De Niro's similar though, where like you could think he's not as good
for sure
if you ignore everything he did in the 70s.
Could you imagine though if I will say De Niro's made some like comedy movie choices like Bad Grandpa and stuff like if you picture why can't I say Al Pacino in that role, it would just be so different.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily even comparable as actors, but I think
Any Given Sunday is pretty dope too.
Yeah. Any Given Sunday, I have a very soft spot for. I love that. Like in high school, I'd listen to that speech before basketball games.
Yeah,
and then just get dunked on by Leeds players.
In college, before we went out, my roommate would always play that.
Yeah,
Kyle Rayburn. He'd be like, "All right, let's drink a beer and listen to this.
Yeah, get pumped up.
Get in the right mindset to talk to some women.
Yeah, go get some
to make them uncomfortable." Speaking of which, I love that Al Pacino. He just basically goes blind. He turns into a daredevil that can like one sniff of a snatch, and he can like knows exactly. How close a beautiful woman is,
and what her name should be. I mean, the speech on the plane is great. I think it gets like the Ferrari scene is just like dumb and hilarious.
They could have cut that out.
I think there's still like.
It's
lines,
more the turns when he's turning. Just when he's just like left, he's like, got it. Yeah, right.
I think you like.
I just wish they did. Now, I wish there was several moments where they'd be like, "This motherfucker's not blind."
Right.
So there were times though I would laugh. Like I thought there were moments where I was like, "This is a great performance," but it might just be retrospectively. But there were times he had where it made me think of Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, where he has dead eyes and he's kind of looking out in the screen, and they're both lieutenants, and they both kind of have that hoo-ha! Right. So there'd just be times where I'd be like, it would be a serious moment, and there is some cheesiness just from the '90s, like they have this piano. It's like this shit's sad. You're feeling this, and I think it's mostly.
That's the thing. Like I don't watch it. Like that and like
but no, the comedy's great.
Yeah, but I think just like the shit he's saying, and that character is very just like funny to me. Just but yeah, it's for sure like got some cheese in it.
I just feel like whoever wrote it watched Rain Man and they're like, we can do this shit. We can do this shit with a blind guy.
It might be the same person.
I just think if you play a blind guy though, you're gonna win an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean.
In that period of time, it was Rayman won it, then he wins it, and I think Al Pacino should have won it for A Dog Day Afternoon or something like, or Godfather 2, something like that.
But then that's where I also will debate people about this role. Is like they say he shouldn't have won it for this role. I was like, this role is great.
Yeah, it's just not
kept doing it. He got stuck in the role, and he did it for 30 years after the fact, and he'll still just like I think it broke his brain into a place where he just kind of that and like. It was like the era between like Scarface and Sin of a Woman, where he just kind of morphed into because like if you remember like Dog Day, he yelled a little bit when he got like riled up.
Yeah,
he's still in like Godfather. He's like very soft spoken and like Serpico and shit. Like he's
in
very
Godfather. He turned into a maniac.
But not one that like screams.
Mm-hmm. Well, Godfather 3, I feel like he gets a little. I guess he gets a little hammy.
Towards the end. But yeah, but that was after. I think that was after Sin of a Woman. I think
then that might have been that leads to your theory even more.
Yeah, it was. And so, it's like I think I actually heard Mark Maron talk about this recently, where he's like he saw Pacino in a Broadway play like a year after he'd done Scarface, and he was like stuck in it. Like the character was not.
Oh yeah, because he was a method actor.
So he was like, there was still Tony Montana like in his projection and shit while he
He's
was on
doing
Broadway.
He's doing Hamlet.
Yeah, he was doing fucking Death of a Salesman.
That just sounds like an excuse to keep doing cocaine.
Right? Yeah, we all need those.
Just stuck in character, man.
Right, I had to figure out some excuses to stop doing it. I called them kids. But yeah. So anyway, I don't think he's overrated, but I think he's definitely guilty of like just going for it and going like too hard or too crazy, and then just like going bigger rather than like lately.
What do you think, Nick? Do you think he's overrated?
You make a lot of points that make me go, you're right. That run in the 70s is incredible. I don't think he's overrated. I do think his choice of stuff on the back end is definitely kind of like, very hit.
Yeah, I get that money sometimes, man. Two for the money. That's what he said.
Yeah, dude, I get it. But I don't know.
You're saying you never saw Simone? You didn't like Simone? What was it doing? He in that? He was fucking unhinged in that Adam Sandler like cameo he did, where he's like in the coffee.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
Something.
He's in Jack and Jill, I think.
Yeah, he's in Jack and Jill. That's what it is. Yeah,
I like him in Insomnia.
Insomnia, he was good.
Yeah, Robin Williams in that too. If you hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
It's Christopher Nolan.
It's probably one of Nolan's like
Christopher
weaker
Nolan.
ones. But like I like it. It's
yeah,
solid.
I like it too.
Is this Robin from the Batman series? Is there was Chris O'Donnell? Is this his best movie?
This?
Yeah.
Like Son of a Woman?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I like Batman Forever. I loved The Bachelor with Artie Lang. No, Renee Zellweger. That's funny because.
Oh wait, I just remember him like running
Remember that
from a
movie?
bunch
Yeah,
of women.
I remember that movie because I watched it upwards of 900 times.
No.
Because I hope the statute of limitations is up. I had a family member who could debug like cable boxes and would sell them. So we got like free pay-per-view for a lot of my childhood. It was also where I watched a lot of movies.
Yeah. We had one of these.
Yeah, and The Bachelor. It was like there was like 3 pay-per-view movies a month, and they just ran on repeat. And I remember The Bachelor was one of those one month, so I watched it like.
And you were just like, oh hell yeah!
I was just on, and I just I did the same thing with fucking like Swim Fan. Remember Swim Fan?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. What's
she was like.
It was the girl. It was the
a
daughter from
of
Traffic,
a swim team.
Erica Christensen or something like that. And it was like a stalker was obsessed with her. She was on the swimming team and then had like a stalker. It's a Swim Fan.
Sounds really good.
It's like picture like Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes, The Fan.
Okay.
But
yeah.
swimming, I guess.
Okay.
The Fan was like, not many people know about that movie.
Is that the one with the football player pulls out a gun and shoots someone?
No, that's a Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis.
Yeah. This is where
also underrated. Also underrated.
Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes plays an athlete, and Robert De Niro plays an athlete, and Wesley Snipes super obsessed. That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Bobby.
Yeah, Robert De Niro is scary
He's unhinged in that.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
like that and like Cape Fear were like around the same time, like early 90s, where it's like, oh, you're like crazy. It's like Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
insane.
I love Taxi Driver.
But I was thinking about it was Martin Scorsese's birthday yesterday, and so I was just like thinking about it and like trying to rank his movies in my head. And
The Irishman, number 1, right?
No, it's not. I like The Irishman. Some people didn't like it. I thought it was good.
I enjoyed it.
But the movie, just speaking of, we went from Pacino to De Niro, but underrated. Probably, maybe my favorite De Niro performance is The King of Comedy.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Just because it's unlike anything De Niro has ever done.
Yeah.
And he's doing a character as opposed to just kind of being stoic and like, I don't know. I feel like Casino and Goodfellas are both like amazing, but maybe my 1 and 2 for Scorsese. But it's like you don't notice the things he's doing as much because he's just kind of playing. But this is like he's a full blown like character.
Oh, even like in Joker when he's the late night host, to be able to tap into that.
Yeah.
And Joker's really influenced by King of Comedy.
For
sure,
100%.
Gotta be.
Rupert.
No, it's like if you watch.
They're almost the same
almost
movie.
very-
I love the
yes,
Joker,
yes.
but after watching the Joker, it was like, Well, this is a little too much
I mean,
like Taxi Driver and
that's-
King of Comedy
That was it.
with
that
a
was,
Joker paint job.
Yeah, that was the
Main criticism.
the criticism. Yeah,
Mhm.
was like, oh, you just took these two better Scorsese movies, and it's like, and I like Joker a lot, and I thought Joaquin was fucking phenomenal.
He's great.
Who's great and everything. But yeah, well, if you watch like those two and then you watch Joker, and you go, oh, you just lifted this shit. And it's like, obviously he knew what he was doing. He fucking cast Robert De Niro as the talk show and the other role. But
The talk show at the end, though, that scene is so phenomenal.
oh, I loved it when I saw it, and I knew these other two movies. But
So that's your top 3 Scorsese, you think?
I don't know. It's hard. But
I
probably.
Taxi Driver is probably my number 1.
Yeah.
There's just watching that movie. It's almost hit me like a horror, where I was just like I watched it like at a weird time in my life, and it was just like really hit me hard.
I think I watched it when I was really young in high school, and it didn't hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it recently. I mean, I've watched it.
Yeah.
I probably watch it like once every couple of years, but, and I don't know. And I think I might have sullied it by watching it like too young, because now I watch it and I'm like, it's obviously great, but it just never hit me as hard as like I think it hit a lot of other people, and I love it. I think it's probably number 4 on my list, but it's
What do you think about what's Raging Bull? Because that one, he turns into a stand-up comedian at the end. That's always interesting.
He's great, and that's like probably De Niro's rightfully won for that role too. Yeah, it's in there for sure. And I love The Departed.
Oh yeah.
I like it's
a fun
probably
one.
not cool to like it, or it's like I don't know. Film discourse is like, and I'm like, that shit's fucking like endlessly rewatchable. It's fucking good. The performances are great.
Jack Nicholson as the lead bad guy is
and
so fun.
I think Damon is fucking incredible in it.
Yeah.
And Leo obviously, but it's like,
yeah. Mark Wahlberg.
I think it's the most I like Mark Wahlberg in anything.
Him and
sure.
that and Boogie Nights are about the only 2 movies I like.
I think he's great. Alec Baldwin's good at it.
Oh yeah, before you start
I like
killing
him in
people.
Fear, but I just like to see Reese Witherspoon in Pain. No, I don't know. I like Reese.
What's the worst movie you think you've ever seen?
Oh my god.
So you've seen a lot, or is there anything that, if you can't think of that, if there's a worst movie that you still like, that you're like, this is so bad, but for some reason I
just
like
love it.
this.
Oh, I have a lot of those.
A guilty pleasure.
I have a lot. So like also just like a lot of them are tied to like childhood, and like me and my brother, like there's a movie called Trapped in Paradise.
Yeah.
It's with Nick Cage, John Lovitz, and Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
And I'll quote that, like I'll go to bat for that movie. I watch it every Christmas. Like me and my brother quoted it growing up, and like nobody's fucking seen it. Or
No.
like everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, this movie is funny and great. But it's not like Sin of a Woman where it's like it probably has its merits. It's like it's probably bad, objectively. But like there's some really funny shit in it, and it definitely like the last third sucks. But like Dana Carvey doing a weird fucking like character. They're all like brothers, like Nicolas Cage, John Lovitz, and Dana Carvey as brothers.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
it already
That's
is kind of a
that's
flimsy.
an awful.
It's already a flimsy premise, but Cage is like turned.
Well, John Lovitz they have the same hairline as Cage. I feel like.
I love it. So if there's one thing I can suggest is, fuck Scarecrow. Go watch Trapped in Paradise.
So the best movie. Let's see
And
the worst.
then I don't know. There's shit like when you had texted me about like what movies to do. There were some that I was like Trapped in Paradise. There were some that like that few people have seen. Like I think Eddie Murphy's best movie is called The Distinguished Gentleman, and it's a movie where he runs for he's a con man who runs for Congress. And it's from the '90s, and I will fight to the death that it is his best, funniest movie, and I love
the
it.
name.
And me and my brother,
Distinguished
like we quoted this shit. I had the VHS growing up. And but like nobody's seen it, and if I said that to somebody, they would hit me. Like I shouldn't be saying that. Like it's an insane thing to say, but it's like it was also like my first. I watched it when I was like 10, and so it was my first kind of intro to Eddie Murphy. And so I was like, this is great, and then like.
I thought Pluto Nash was good at one point in time
Well,
because it's the similar reason where I was like, I'm watching an Eddie
But
Murphy
Distinguished Gentleman actually is good, and it's like ahead of its time, or not even ahead of its time, but it's like
I like how he's like, don't lump me in with Pluto
Yeah,
Nash.
yeah, dude.
Please, for the love of God. But it's all about how fucking like being a congressman is a scam, and like this con man just
Like
conned his
Pluto
way in.
Nash is about how a spaceman.
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing, man. We're saying the
yeah,
same
it's
thing.
the same thing.
So in this movie, he, learned how to like actually assemble a gun and like disassemble a gun in under 45 seconds with his eyes closed. Is there anything that you think you could do with your eyes closed in activity where you're like, oh, I'm a master at this? Like,
I could beat off.
Yeah.
yeah, I knew that's what.
Probably under 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need 45
I'm
seconds.
pretty good with my own
Shit.
equipment.
I don't know.
I think it's weird that because the way they shot it made it look like he didn't do that because like I don't know, it just cut
Cuts,
to it.
yeah.
You'd think you'd want a wide shot of just showing him doing that if he learned how to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just about the process. I don't know.
Yeah, really got in the character there.
So is there something that I can do with my eyes closed? I got pretty good at shooting free throws, Michael Jordan style.
Yeah, just to talk shit to people.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I could just. It's after a while, it's the same. It's the rhythm, and as
Yeah.
long as you're lined up, it feels right.
I used to, when I would drive, sometimes I really would like. I mean, I think everyone's like close their eyes for a second while they were driving, just to like. Yeah, never.
I mean, I fell asleep.
I've never fallen asleep.
at a stoplight before.
I've never fallen asleep, but I've like been driving and been like, 1,
I can
2,
do
all
it.
right.
Oh man, no, not on purpose. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Beat off? Did I already say that?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Closing my eyes right now.
All right, fine.
I'm
just a
I'm
weird
trying
guy.
to think of any instances of closing my eyes and doing anything. I don't know.
It's all right. We can move on.
I picture another woman when I'm fucking my wife.
I'm the
I can
best
do
at
that with my eyes closed.
Did you pick this 'cause it's around
No,
Thanksgiving?
I know, but
too.
I was like, it's perfect. I was thinking.
Is
about
it
on the
better
way
than
in.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
as a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah.
To me, I mean,
Planes, Trains, and Blind People.
yeah. Planes, trains, and driving automobiles with your eyes closed. But he comes in and he asks Bradley Whitford. He's like, "You still with whatever sugar snack?" And he's like, "Well, it's called this." He's like, "Why do you always get that wrong?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Because it's not important for me to get it right." and then later he's like, "You're in the sugar business." And he says something about being in the sugar business, and that like he always preferred honey in the commissary. And then, like later on, they're at the dinner table, and he talks about how he needs to start going down on his wife,
Oh,
which is the best. He just goes, "Oh, there's fire under that dress." He's like, "Either there's one of two things: either she's nervous or unsatisfied." He's like, "What are you trying to say?" He's like, "You need to go down on her." And he goes, "You got so wrapped up in the sugar business, you're forgetting to taste the real honey." That shit is fucking hysterical. And he's and like when that cuts to Thanksgiving, and he's in the middle of telling a story, and he's like, "So I got these two girls. I got this Asian flower on one hand, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Not a stitch of clothing
Put
between
your
it.
clothes on. It goes, East meet West, and we'll build a golden bridge." It's like that shit is very funny to me, and
Yeah, he's like, my favorite line about that was like, "Boy, I didn't know how your sensibilities.
Yeah,
I admire your
yeah,
sensibilities."
I'm touched.
Yeah, I'm touched.
Yeah, I didn't know you were so sensitive. I admire your sensibilities. I'm touched.
I just kept picturing this guy showing up to Thanksgiving in 2022, just super pumped that Trump just announced his.
I mean, for sure. Yeah, he was on Lyndon's staff.
The scene for me that made me admire him the most, though, was when he went up to the girl.
Yeah,
And it was just like, honestly, I have been like, I remember when I was younger, there was one of my dad's friends I was like maybe in like 7th, 8th grade. And he was like, "You need to go talk to this girl." And he was like, "Let's go talk to her. Come on."
right.
And that's just that confidence of like, "Oh, just say
Right,
this,"
right,
like
right.
you got
Gotta
nothing
have
to
blind
lose.
confidence.
Yeah,
Right,
that blind
right.
confidence. But he does. I mean, even the line though that he says when she's like, "I only have a minute," he's like, "Some people live a whole lifetime in a minute."
Right.
And it's just that I don't know. It really, I
Right, he's
admire
just
him
like-
so much in that moment.
Yeah, and I love when they're on the plane, at the very beginning when they're first going to New York, and this is like the first time he like starts talking about women, and he's just like, but it's a great. You just start to see that character of like, he's like, you really like women. He's like, that's what Chris O'Donnell says. He goes, you really like women, huh? It's like very funny because he's just like,
so what else is there?
Yeah,
he says something like that.
Legs. I don't care if they're Greek columns or secondhand Steinways. What's between them? Passport to heaven. Just talking about pussy to this kid you just met is fucking great. Just like being obsessed with pussy.
Well, that's the son of the woman.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just a dirty old man is like hilarious. And who just not,
but it's weird because he like skates that line of like dirty, but also an appropriate appreciation.
For sure. It's the appreciation. Yes, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that real suicidal but still hilarious line.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of us are right there, baby. Some of us are on it.
We got to talk about the speech at the end.
Yeah, and the speech at the end is
no, that touched me.
Is killer.
Like the movie, to me, it is cheesy, but it still is effective. Like I'm still sitting there like tearing up.
Yeah, and it's it's all built around this fucking like powerhouse performance and this like this big speech at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think like that was something I didn't get when I was younger too. Is just like the pressure of like telling on people versus. Like, and you see fucking like Philip Seymour Hoffman like fold, and it's like, oh, he's like principle and like how important like your principles are, and he's just like you're building a rat ship here, a vessel for seagoing snitches. If you think you're preparing these minnows for manhood, you better think again. I'll do the whole fucking thing.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you.
I don't know who went to this place. William Howard Taft, William Jennings Bryan, William Tell, whoever. Their spirit is dead if they ever had one. If they ever had one. It's very funny. But yeah, that whole thing, I could do the whole fucking thing at the end, but it is
that speech better than the Any Given Sunday speech?
Yes. So I would watch Sin of a Woman before, I swear to God. So these are on game days. I would wake up while I was getting dressed. I had the 3 VHSs sitting right here. I would watch the final scene from Scarface, the speech from Any Given Sunday, and the final speech from Son of a Woman.
Hell yeah!
To get pumped up.
I can't believe I asked you if you thought it was over.
Yeah, I mean,
you're like his biggest fan.
Al Pacino got us 10 wins, man, in high school.
I was trying to be polite,
bro. I dropped 30.
I've been fucking seething over here.
Hey, I got your back.
I dropped 40 on Oxford because of the woman.
Yeah, exactly. More like Linear Ryan, or no, not Linear Ryan. Who was the fucking military school down 280? What was the fucking name? I don't know, but they were very bad.
You think Al Pacino listens to You Can Call Me Al?
Maybe.
Hooah!
Like this one. He, I got like big into Pacino in high school and De Niro. Like that was like, whenever you get into him, people discover him at different times. But I got very into like acting. And
Italians.
Old Italian men is what I got really into.
Olive.
Yeah.
I started putting olive oil on everything.
That's been going on for a long time. Still going on.
So I like Heat, but I was a little disappointed. Like I've only seen it like one time, I think. Like it's a good movie, but like I like Pacino and Robert De Niro, and I was like pumped to.
That scene would also be that would be a pump up scene.
Yeah, if you had time.
Scene. Yeah, if I wanted to be
Mom
late,
said
if I wanted to be late to homeroom.
I gotta get this fourth Pacino
in. Well, it was.
I love how time-consuming it was back then versus now.
You had to like rewind it and find.
Did you keep them queued up?
Did you keep
them queued up?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Or like I think Any Given Sunday was a DVD.
Oh yeah. We're in the future now, baby.
And Heat might have been a DVD, but the other ones were VHS for sure. This was funny. So when like fucking not iPads but MP3 players came out, and you could like go on Kazaa or Napster and download, like I started downloading movie quotes, and I would download all their speeches, and so I could listen to it throughout the fucking day. I didn't have to be at home in front of the TV. I could put it in my
Everyone's
headphones.
listening to pump up music. What do you listen to? You don't want to know.
I'm in fucking
Cinema Woman.
I'm in U.S. history class with one earbud and fucking listening to Pacino quotes.
You've outdone yourself, Gail.
Yeah. Forgetting to taste the real honey.
He does have some great lines in this movie.
I mean,
I'm glad you're here to recap.
I mean, it holds a. It's very funny. I texted my friend Tina, who loves it as well, and we quote it back and forth. And I was like, I'm going to talk about Cinema Woman tonight on a podcast. If there's anything you need me to say, and he said, just make sure you ask how's your skin, son.
I think I'm a sucker though for any big scene where it's like preparatory school and everyone, like the culmination of it's like a meeting in front of all the preparatory.
Right.
Like I'm already like in. Like
yeah.
And you just see that too. Like so many other movies have taken that aspect of it. I just feel like you just see that in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess Chris O'Donnell was in. Speaking of, wasn't he in Robin Williams movie?
He could have been. I know what you're talking about. My Captain.
Yes.
Stand and Deliver.
Yes, he's in
What is
that.
that? No, it's.
I guess that's like college maybe, but it's the same kind of. I feel like Chris O'Donnell is like.
He could be.
Prep
He's so vanilla.
Prep school vanilla, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's well casted because he just feels like a kid that would be worried about getting kicked out of prep school.
Right.
I don't really. That doesn't do much for me, but I do love the whole like. I love like Big Daddy and all those tropes where someone steps up for like someone they're not related to, and just Al Pacino coming in for the end speech.
Oh,
that touches me a lot.
Even him walking in, I started to get misty-eyed. I'm just like, oh,
definitely.
So man hates everyone.
But there are problems in the movie.
And you know he's about to set this fucking what's his name? James Remar? No, not James Remar. What the fuck is that guy's name? That actor who's just the biggest asshole in every movie.
Oh yeah,
of all time. And you just know he's about to fucking get the business from Colonel Frank Slade.
And he gives it to him.
Yeah, and he does.
He gets on the business end
What
of that
a
stick.
crock of shit.
I'm trying to think of what else that guy's in. As soon as you said it, I immediately pictured a movie that he's in that's like, he is the bad guy.
Oh, yeah,
everything.
he's a piece of shit in like everything.
It's
like him, James Cromwell,
authoritative figures,
and there was like 3 or 4 of them that were always just like the character actor who was like the
warden.
bad guy.
Yeah,
the warden. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. God damn, I want to go watch Cinema Woman now.
Did you watch it before at all, or you just? That's incredible to me that you're just like that tuned in to Cinema Woman.
I mean, it's
you really did. I believe you that you listened.
Like
to
I've had a dream scenario for the past, I guess, 6 years now.
Of coming on this podcast.
Of coming to this podcast and saying what I'm about to say. I'm gay. No, like since my brother's death, I've had a dream scenario where on the anniversary or like on his birthday every year, I rent out a theater and make our loved ones watch Cinema Woman, or like make our friend group watch Cinema Woman.
That's beautiful, though.
And I'm gonna do it one year.
You need to.
But it's like a dream of mine. And then I have another dream where I make all my friends watch Inherent Vice in a theater too, because as much as I fucking talk about it, nobody will watch the goddamn thing.
Much more selfish dream.
Yeah, that's just more for me.
I think that's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Talking about getting misty-eyed, though, when I was doing research, I saw your tweet where you're like talking about your brother.
Yeah.
And that got me. But recently, when my friends had passed away, and like just yesterday, I was at the funeral, and his sister gave a eulogy and gave a big speech, and it was same thing where just any sibling stuff. Like my mom lost her brother growing up when she was really young, so like stuff like that.
And like
just
me,
always gets me.
And we were very much like movie quote. Like machine, like shit that we want. Like fucking, we could quote every line from The Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy and like Trapped in Paradise. Like these movies I'm talking about were like
you don't have someone to do that with.
That's also what makes them like great to me. It was like we just watched them together so much and fucking would quote them all the time. And there was like one person I could do that with. Like, you know, like
I couldn't talk about the movie Kung Pao with anybody, probably.
And I like forced basically all my friends now to have like watched Son of a Woman a bunch and like know all the quotes. And so like they didn't. And now like I lived with a few of them for a while and I was like, we're fucking watching this shit. And but it's like, you know, we were very much like a movie quote household in like our relationship.
I think everyone growing up like
Yeah.
like before the internet was super mainstream, like after that we started watching YouTube clips, stuff like that. But before that it was just like movies and we're gonna quote movies back to each other.
And yeah, we just watched a shit ton of them. So did you see something I posted about this?
On Twitter, I think you posted just your VHS collection, and that one was in there.
Yeah.
Son of a Woman may have been in there. It was very like
Eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like just me and Nick loved Secret Ooze, and that's another movie that I think is probably objectively a bad movie, but so much nostalgia, and I just love the Turtles. That it's
exactly.
so much fun.
I mean, I think people preferred the first one, but you know,
first one's like grittier and cooler.
I was an ooze daddy from way back, you know.
All about the ooze.
Yeah, dude. I'd be oozing. I could do my catchphrase again.
Dude, I just want a shirt. I'd be oozing.
I'd be oozing. I'll bring you guys gifts next time.
Do you really have a shirt?
No,
that'd be incredible.
I do now.
It'd just be great.
Copyright, trademark. I'd be oozing.
So we mentioned Inherent Vice, but what's your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
I'd say it probably Inherent Vice. It truly is like, and I watch it all the time, and it never gets old. And like I said, I think it only gets better. So right now, but it changes. Like
what are the other ones?
I walked out of the theater after There Will Be Blood, and I was like, I've never seen a movie that good in my entire life.
It's so good.
And I was on the team that Coen Brothers are probably my favorite directors of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on team There Will Be Blood that year. Like when everyone was like, no country's gonna win, and I was like, I think this movie might fucking be better. And I still kind of believe that. Even I love them both, but
I like No Country better.
But I think I love There Will Be Blood, and then The Master is like one of my favorite movies of all time. But I still think Inherent Vice is just like my favorite, and it's like the most rewatchable. And I like if I've just had a bad day and don't want to like start a new movie, I'll just put that shit on. Like,
definitely the atmosphere of that movie is so laid back.
And I'm so like I'm fucking deadhead. I'm so like I love like I'm obsessed with like the fucking 70s, like late 60s, 70s. Like I want to live in that fucking time period. So that shit just like speaks to me on a whole like other level where I'm just like, oh, I just want to be in this world. Like I just like.
No, I love time period pieces.
Luckily, I'm white, so I can go into any time period
and
be pretty okay.
I feel that about
dodge that bullet.
Son of a Woman too. It's just like, wow, there's a lot of white people in this. I mean, it's a prep school. I mean, what are you gonna do?
And it's also it's fucking early 90s.
Al Pacino, he was just sniffing up white women. That's all I noticed.
Did Chris Rock auditioned to be the whatever his name's role, Chris O'Donnell's role.
Really?
Yeah.
That probably would have been good.
Huh.
I don't think Chris Rock's a great actor. I think he's a funny comedian, but
oh, he's not a good actor.
Chris Rock?
No. This last season of Fargo,
he made me. I've dropped Fargo's dropped out of my like. That's one of my favorite shows. I'm like not even gonna mention it anymore.
Same, dude.
I'm embarrassed.
And I liked all the other aspects of this last season.
Yeah.
Not as much as maybe as the other ones, but like he's just not good.
He's awful.
And people were like trying to build him up, and I know it's like press and publicists and all that stuff.
If Will Smith would have slapped him because of Fargo season 4, if he'd been like, "That's for Fargo," I'd have been like, "Hell yeah!"
I was fine with that shit too because I'm like, you made a fucking hacky joke. I think people deserve to get slapped when they fuck up when they make shitty jokes. If you're that big of a comedian, if you're one of the fucking goats and you stoop to like a 10-year-old joke that's like super easy and hack, I think you deserve to get slapped.
That's
You're better than that.
There's not a lot of comedians taking Will Smith's side.
I know. I did it immediately that night. I think he fucking deserved that shit for that hack bullshit.
That's what Big Willie style's about.
Yeah. I just get immediately hit with a beer bottle at my next show. Like, fuck. I guess I had that one coming. Don't attack comedians.
Just
unless
Unless-
they're really hacky.
Oh yeah, I'm not good at like I can do something fucking stupid and hack. I'm not
Yeah.
considered on the Mount Rushmore of comedians.
That's why I just stick to a podcast. I can do
Yeah,
my hacky
that's
jokes
right,
in the
that's
safety
good,
of here.
That's good.
So before we go, are you watching anything? Do you have any recommendations of current things that are out right now that you'd recommend?
I just watched Banshees of Inisherin,
Okay.
the new Martin McDonagh movie with Colin Farrell.
I heard
and
that
Brendan
looks
Gleeson.
great. Guy that did 7 Psychopaths.
So
Oh,
he did
shit.
3 Billboards.
Yeah.
In Bruges.
Oh wow.
7
Yeah.
Psychopaths.
He's brilliant.
This is his best movie.
His writing's so good.
This is his best movie.
Yeah, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people's opinion, but it's like, I loved it. Like I loved every second of it. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. I just watched it like last week.
Okay.
That I've seen this year, and like Colin Farrell's fucking incredible and deserves to be like nominated for awards.
loves
and
Colin
I think
Farrell.
he's gonna be. He's been putting in work since he got out of whatever.
That phone
That-
booth lane.
Yeah, or
Him
just
and
that, or that kind of
McConaughey, I
heartthrob,
feel like both-
heartthrob lane that they were trying to put him
Mhm.
in or whatever. And he's put in some fucking.
If you do
work.
True Detective, you start
Yeah,
just being a
yeah.
better actor. I
Oh,
think.
The Recruit.
The Recruit's
That's
good.
him, man.
That's
Al
a good, I like
Pacino.
that movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie. That was one of the first bootleg movies like I ever had. Like I think I had a.
That movie's kind of about bootlegging stuff too.
I guess,
from
yeah.
the
I guess that's true.
Yeah. That's the first
Maybe it
Al
was like maybe
Pacino
they were
movie I
tapping-
saw.
They were tapping my VCR or tapping my.
That ooze bottle actually has a place for a
Yeah.
drive in the bottom of
That's
it.
good. The Recruit is good. That's the one I
The
forget
Recruit's
about.
good. Well, you heard it here, guys. Let's
Yeah.
let's do our kick and let's get out of here.
Hey!
We need to do our Ninja Turtle. Like,
I forgot. I was like, "Do our cat? Are we tying off?" Like I gotta get home. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm happy to nerd out about.
Well, where do we find
Movies.
you? We've got December 22nd.
I'm up on
It's-
Crest 101. Just at. I guess I don't know if Twitter's still alive at this point, but at Wes Van Horn. There at Wes Van Horn Comedy on Instagram. I do my show at Avondale, Upstairs Comedy Series. Like try to do it once a month. Bring in touring comics. Obviously December 22nd, Yellowhammered at Saturn. Just if you're into comedy, I promise I won't do 45 minutes of Sin of a Woman quotes at the next comedy show unless you ask. If you come up and say you listened and you
that'd be
and then I'll
hilarious
do
if you
it.
start getting heckled like, "Do Sin of a Woman."
We're here for.
That's not heckling. That's a fucking. That's
Bring
better.
the ooze.
Yeah, that's better than my fucking act. Yeah. Oh, I hope he did. Yeah, I'd be oozing shirts in the crowd, baby.
That'd be incredible, man. Thank you so much for
Yeah, man.
joining us.
Appreciate y'all.
This has been the Movie Ruiners.
Cowbunga.
Hooah!
Yeah.
Hooah!
Movies. Making, re-reviewing both eyes. Movies. Watching movies till